10:14 p.m., and you're tuned to 107.2 FM. My name is Reed Winslow, and if you can hear me, then at least for tonight, you're not alone. I'm sitting in a dim, cold studio on the edge of downtown Columbus, Ohio. The main power grid has been down since last week, so I'm running this broadcast on a rattling old diesel generator that burns through fuel faster than I can scavenge it. The hum of the engine outside is the only thing keeping this station alive, and sometimes I swear it's louder than my own heartbeat. The air inside is thick, stale, and the smell of gasoline lingers in my clothes, but silence would be worse. Silence out there means they're moving again. Drop a comment. Tell me where you're listening from and what time it is for you. The streets around me are dead. Cars frozen at intersections, their drivers long gone or worse. Storefronts are dark, glass shattered, the shelves stripped bare. The only light comes from fires burning in trash cans or flickering in buildings someone still tries to defend. It's late September, but the air feels heavier than it should, warm in a way that presses on your skin, like the city itself is holding its breath. Out there, you can hear nothing until suddenly you hear everything. Shuffling feet, low groans, the clatter of something knocked over in the dark. That's when you know you've lingered too long. I've been on this frequency since the third day after it started. At first, I didn't even know what I was reporting. Just strange calls about people collapsing in grocery stores, paramedics refusing to load bodies into ambulances, hospitals overwhelmed. The official word was a viral outbreak, some kind of new flu. But then the phone stopped working. The local TV stations went black one by one. And when I looked outside the studio window, I saw a man tear into his neighbor's throat with his teeth. Not a fight, not self-defense. He was feeding, and his face was soaked in blood like he didn't even notice. That was the moment I stopped calling it anything else. What we're living through isn't sickness, the way we've known it. This thing, whatever it is, turns people into something unrecognizable. They don't talk, they don't think, they just move. And they keep moving, no matter how many times they should have fallen. I've watched a man with his leg snapped sideways crawl half a block toward the sound of a crying baby until someone put a bullet in his head. I've seen a woman with her stomach ripped open still lurch forward like nothing inside her mattered anymore. There's no going back from it. No cure. No recovery. The collapse was faster than anyone thought possible. First the phones went, then the internet. Within 2 days, the grocery chains were looted. By the third night, you couldn't find an open gas station anywhere in Franklin County. Police tried to hold the main highways, but when their radios went dead and they realized the dead weren't staying down, their lines broke. The National Guard rolled in from Cincinnati and set up roadblocks near I-70, but I haven't heard a word from them in 3 days. For all I know, they're gone too. I heard from an old friend who used to work at the OSU Medical Center before it all fell apart. She told me off the record that the first patients they admitted didn't die from the bites. They died from shock, blood loss, trauma. But then, hours later, they sat back up. Their eyes clouded over, their skin pale, their movements slow at first, then faster. She said the doctors tried everything. Defibrillators, ventilators, antivirals. But nothing mattered. The infection wasn't in the lungs or the bloodstream the way they thought. It was deeper, rewriting whatever it needed to turn a body into a weapon. I'll tell you this, don't count on help. Don't wait for a rescue. The government's gone quiet. The president hasn't made a statement since the first day, and every emergency broadcast I've picked up since then is just a pre-recorded loop telling people to shelter in place. Shelter where? Food runs out. Water runs out. And the shelters they told people to gather in, stadiums, schools, they turned into feeding grounds. I got word from someone out near Cleveland that an entire high school gym packed with survivors was overrun in less than 10 minutes when one person inside changed. 10 minutes, and 400 people were gone. Right now, if you're listening, your best chance is to stay moving during the day, hole up somewhere high at night, and never, ever ignore the sound of silence. It means they're close. Stockpile what you can. Canned food, clean water, anything you can use as a weapon. And don't trust anyone who's been bitten, no matter what they tell you. If you see the bite, if you see the blood, it's already too late. I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying it because fear is what's keeping some of us alive. I've been awake for nearly 20 hours now, and my hands won't stop shaking when I hold this microphone. But if even one person hears me and makes it through the night, then burning this fuel, risking this signal, it's worth it. This is Reed Winslow on 107.2 FM, and I'll keep broadcasting as long as I have power, as long as my voice holds out. If you're alive out there, hang on. We're not done yet. It's 6:03 a.m. now. Dawn has broken over Columbus, though it hardly feels like it. The sky is gray, choked with smoke from fires that have been burning unchecked for days. The air smells of wet ash and something sour I can't quite place, like spoiled meat carried on the wind. I've been sitting here in the studio all night, watching the world from behind barred windows, too tired to close my eyes, but too wired to risk missing the smallest sound. Sleep isn't something you can afford anymore, not when one quiet moment could be your last. From this high floor, I can see the streets stretching out below. There aren't many left walking around who still breathe, but the others, the ones that don't, they keep moving even when there's nowhere to go. I counted at least 50 yesterday afternoon crossing Broad Street in one shambling cluster. They don't stop unless they hear something. Glass breaking, a door creaking, a car alarm somebody forgot to smash. When they hear it, they all turn at once, as if they share a single thought, a single hunger. It's the kind of sight that makes your chest tighten and your legs go weak. You know that if they catch your scent or hear your breath, there's nothing in the world that will slow them down. The city isn't what it used to be. What was once noise, horns, traffic, people shouting, is now only wind, rattling broken signs. Street lights don't glow anymore. The water stopped running from the taps 4 days ago, and what's left in bottles and basements is already being fought over. I watched a group of 6 men raid a corner store yesterday. They weren't quiet about it either. Within minutes, the things outside caught on. I stayed up here and listened as the men screamed, then begged, then went silent. I know that silence too well now. It's never just silence. It's finality. I need to tell you something that may help. Something I learned by accident. 2 nights ago, the generator sputtered out, and I thought the studio had finally gone dark for good. I sat in pitch black, not daring to move, the kind of black where you can't tell if your eyes are open or shut. That's when I heard them on the street below, dozens of them, growling and dragging their feet. I froze, and then something strange happened. They didn't come closer. They kept moving, passing right by. Later, when I thought about it, I realized they're drawn to light almost as much as they're drawn to sound. When the building was lit, it was a beacon. When it went dark, it was like I'd vanished. That doesn't mean you're safe in darkness, but it might buy you time. There are whispers, half rumors, half desperate hopes, that the military is still holding pockets outside the city. Some say there's a base near Dayton. Others swear convoys are pulling people out from makeshift zones along I-71. But every time I try to catch a signal on the old radio bands, all I get is static, or that same automated voice repeating instructions to stay indoors. Indoors doesn't mean safe anymore. We all know that. If the dead don't find you, hunger will. I can't shake the last conversation I had before the phones died. It was with my sister, Melissa, out in Newark. She had her 2 kids with her. I told her to stay put, to lock the doors and wait. She said the neighbors were already turning on each other, raiding houses for food. She asked me if I'd come. I told her I couldn't leave the station, that my job was to keep talking, keep the airwaves alive. She cried and told me I was a fool. That was 7 days ago. I don't know if she's alive. I don't know if I did the right thing. If you're listening now, you need to understand this isn't temporary. This isn't going to be solved in a week or a month. The systems we counted on, hospitals, police, the government, they're gone, at least for now. What's left is what you can carry, what you can find, and who you can trust. If you've got people with you, don't leave them behind. If you're alone, find a group. You'll need more than just yourself. And if you're bitten, don't lie about it. Don't tell yourself you'll be the exception. That lie has killed more survivors than the dead have. This is Reed Winslow on 107.2 FM, still breathing, still broadcasting. If you're hearing me, cling to the daylight. It's the only weapon we have that never runs out. And when night falls again, make sure you've got walls, locks, and silence. That silence could save your life. It's 8:41 p.m. now, and the light is gone. The sun set an hour ago, and with it came the return of the only movement you can count on anymore. I can see them again through the cracks in the blinds, their bodies shifting slowly across the streets below, their shapes catching what little light remains from the fires still burning near the old courthouse. The night belongs to them, and it's when they're at their loudest. Moans echoing against the buildings, echoing up through the empty windows. The sound carries across the city like a storm rolling in. Only there's no lightning, no thunder, just hunger. The generator is running low. I've been rationing fuel, cutting the broadcast power when I can, but it's still draining faster than I'd hoped. The red needle is hovering near empty, and I don't know where I'll find more. Every gas station within walking distance is either burned out or crawling with the dead. I may have to risk venturing farther, maybe to the highway exits. But I don't like my odds. Out there, one wrong noise, one shadow at the wrong time, and you're gone. I tell myself every night that the broadcast is worth it, that someone out there needs this voice to keep from slipping into despair. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't questioning it. There's a growing stench on the air tonight, something worse than the rot I've grown used to. It's thicker, heavier, the kind of smell that clings to the back of your throat and makes you gag even when you cover your face. I think there's a pile of bodies not far from here, maybe in one of the alleys. Sometimes the groups feed until they leave nothing behind, but other times they don't finish at all. They just move on to the next noise, the next scream. And what they leave sits in the open air, baking under the sun until the night takes it back. That's what the city is now, a graveyard where the graves walk on their own. I heard something on the shortwave earlier, a faint, broken transmission, barely a whisper through the static. A man's voice, maybe military, maybe just some survivor with a strong antenna. He said something about Route 23. He said, "South, 30 miles. Safe, That's all I caught before the line cut out. Safe could mean anything these days. Safe could mean an ambush, could mean a trap, or it could mean the last real chance for someone out there. I don't know. But if you're close enough to risk it, keep your eyes sharp. Don't move at night. Travel only in the morning, when the sun is highest and the shadows are shortest. And never travel alone if you can help it. I keep thinking about the first day, when the news anchors were still calm, still pretending this was something the CDC could contain. They kept saying to stay calm, to wait for instructions. But I saw what happened to those who waited. They're the ones stumbling in the streets right now, their mouths hanging open, their bodies broken and still moving forward. Waiting is death. Acting, even if it's desperate, is survival. I'm tired, more tired than I've ever been, but I won't stop this broadcast. Not yet. The voice is all we've got left in a world that's gone quiet. If you're hearing this, you're still alive. That alone means something. Don't waste it. This is Reed Winslow, 107.2 FM. I'll keep talking until this fuel runs dry or until they find a way in. If you're alive tonight, fight for another sunrise. Sometimes that's all survival is. One sunrise after another. It's 11:56 p.m. here in Columbus, and the city is restless. I can hear them more clearly tonight, their moans cutting through the cracks in the boarded windows. The streets are full again, more than I've seen in days. It's like the dead have begun to gather, drawn to each other in clusters, moving as one. Watching from up here, it feels almost organized, like they're pulled by some invisible thread. They don't scatter anymore. They collect, merge, and then drift in a single direction. I don't know what that means, but it doesn't feel random. The power lines outside hang low, useless cables swaying in the wind. The grid's been dead for a week now, and the only light comes from the fires no one bothers to put out. The city skyline that once glowed every night is nothing but black outlines now, jagged shadows against a bruised sky. Somewhere out there, a building still burning, thick smoke curling upward. The smell is heavy and constant. Smoke, ash, and the sweet stink of rot. It's in my clothes, in my skin, even in my dreams, if I dream at all. Earlier tonight, I tried to scan the emergency frequencies again, hoping maybe I'd catch a signal. Most were just static, but on one channel I heard fragments. A woman's voice, frantic, talking about Cincinnati. I couldn't make out much, just bridge down, too many, fire on the river, and then nothing. I don't know if she was military, a civilian, or just another survivor broadcasting her last words. That's what the airwaves are now. Bits of voices breaking apart, cut short before they can tell the whole story. Supplies are running low. I've been rationing the cans I've got left, one a day, sometimes less. Water's harder. I rigged a system with old gutters and a tarp to catch rain, but it hasn't rained in 3 days. The taps are dry, and the stores are long stripped. I know I'll need to leave this place soon if I want to keep breathing. The thought of walking those streets with nothing but silence between me and them, it makes my chest tighten. But staying here too long will be worse. You can't defend one spot forever. They always find their way in. I think about people I knew before this. Friends, family, co-workers. I wonder how many are out there hiding in basements, running through fields, clutching whatever they could carry. I wonder how many are out there in the streets, shuffling and groaning, their faces pale and empty. Sometimes I imagine seeing someone I know among them, and I try to tell myself I'd be strong enough to do what has to be done. But I don't know. Looking into eyes that once knew you, even if they're clouded over now, That might break me. There's a ringing in my ears from the generator, a constant low hum that follows me even when I turn it off. I think it's the price of keeping this voice alive. But silence would be worse. Silence would mean giving in. So I'll keep talking, even if I'm only talking to myself. If you're out there and you hear this, know this much. The dead aren't going away. The world we had isn't coming back. But as long as one of us is left standing, breathing, fighting, we're not finished. Stay alive. Keep moving. Don't wait for rescue. Rescue isn't coming. This is Reed Winslow, 107.2 FM. I'll be here until the fuel runs dry, until my voice does. If you're alive tonight, stay quiet, stay hidden, and make it to morning. That's all that matters anymore. It's 4:19 a.m., and I don't think I've ever heard the city sound this alive while being so completely dead. The groans are everywhere, bouncing off the empty buildings, layered one over the other until it sounds like the streets themselves are crying out. Every so often, there's a sharp crash, glass breaking, something heavy knocked over, and then a rush of shuffling, as if the noise has pulled them all in like moths to a flame. I keep the blinds tight, but I peeked once, just once, and what I saw will sit in my chest until the day I stop breathing. Hundreds of them, maybe more, shoulder to shoulder on the avenue, swaying, twitching, their jaws opening and closing like they're chewing on the night air. The studio walls feel thinner every night. The boards I nailed across the doors look like matchsticks compared to what waits outside. I push furniture in front of them anyway, not because I think it will hold forever, but because the ritual of it gives me something to do, something to keep my hands busy when the fear crawls up my spine. I tell myself the locks and boards are strong, but in the back of my mind I know, given enough time and noise, nothing is. I tried to rest earlier, lay down on the floor behind the mixing board, pulled my jacket over me like a blanket. But sleep is a cruel thing now. It tricks you. The moment you close your eyes, you see their faces. Blank eyes, torn mouths, the jerking way they move when they spot something living. I dreamed of my sister again. She was standing in the doorway, her kids clutching her legs, her mouth moving, but no words coming out. When I woke, I wasn't sure if I'd been dreaming or if it was one of them outside, moaning against the door. That's what this does to you. You stop trusting your own senses. The radio dial is useless now. I turn it slowly, hoping for a human voice, but all I get is static or faint echoes of signals too far away to make out. I caught a whisper of something around 2:30 a.m., just a man repeating, hold the line, over and over until it cut off. I don't know if he was a soldier or just someone clinging to the last words that gave him strength. Whoever he was, I hope he's still alive. My water's nearly gone. I poured the last of it into a rusted thermos, and I'm sipping it slow, but it won't last till tomorrow. I'll need to leave this place soon. The idea of stepping into those streets makes my stomach turn, but the body doesn't care about fear. It needs water. It needs food. And you can't negotiate with hunger. The one thing that keeps me from walking out right now is the sound of the dead moving in groups. It's different than before. They're not scattered anymore. They gather, move as packs. I watched one group surround a man 2 blocks away last evening. He tried to run, and they didn't just chase. They cut him off, circling, pushing him into the open where escape was impossible. That's not mindless. That's something worse. Something learning. If you're still hearing me, you need to understand. Staying alive isn't about waiting for help. It's about finding the strength to do what you thought you couldn't. That means keeping your voice down, even when you want to scream. It means letting go of what you can't carry. It means doing what has to be done when someone you love gets bit. There's no middle ground anymore. It's life or death. And hesitation is death. This is Reed Winslow on 107.2 FM. I'm not sure how many more nights this generator has left in it, but until it quits, I'll be here, talking into the dark, keeping the silence from swallowing us whole. If you're alive, stay hidden. Stay breathing. Dawn's not far off now. Hold out for it. That's all you need to do. Hold out. It's 9:32 a.m., and daylight has stretched itself across Columbus, though it doesn't bring comfort the way it used to. The morning sun spills between the empty towers, catching on broken glass and burned-out cars, but the streets aren't clear. Not really. They don't wander as much during the day, but they don't disappear either. They linger in alleys, pressed against shadows, slumped against walls like discarded mannequins. You think they're dead until one shifts its head toward you, until one twitches when you make the wrong sound. I can't tell you how many times I've seen someone walk right past what they thought was a body, only for it to rise and take them down from behind. The quiet is different now, not the empty kind. It's the sort of quiet that hangs heavy, like the whole city is waiting. The birds are gone. No traffic, no planes overhead. Even the wind feels muted. And yet I can still hear the faint dragging of feet if I stand too close to the window, carried up from the streets like whispers. They don't tire. They don't stop. They just wait. And it gnaws at you. The idea that you can outlast something that doesn't wear down the way you do. The generator is still coughing along, but I don't have enough fuel to keep it running another week. Yesterday, I thought about venturing toward the old bus depot where I remember seeing emergency trucks lined up days ago. If they're abandoned, maybe there's fuel. But that means stepping into open streets, risking the sound of boots on pavement. Sound carries in ways you don't expect now. Drop a can, kick a stone, and what was empty becomes full in seconds. I've been marking the days on the wall with a piece of broken glass. 11 lines so far. 11 days since the outbreak started, though it feels longer, as if the old world belongs to someone else's memory. I think about the last time I bought groceries, the last time I stood in line for coffee, the last time I shook a stranger's hand. Back then, I didn't know those were final acts. Nobody knew. And now those small things feel like luxuries we never appreciated. I try to piece together the fragments of what I've heard on this radio. Cincinnati, Cleveland, Dayton, they're all in chaos. The highways are clogged with abandoned cars, families who tried to run and never made it. There are rumors of safe zones, but rumors won't keep you alive. The only truth I know is what I see with my own eyes. Empty buildings, dead streets, and the endless hunger outside. If you're out there, if you're alive, the rules are simple but unforgiving. Move only when you must. Stay off the main roads. Gather food that doesn't rot fast. Cans, jars, anything sealed. Don't light fires at night. Smoke gives you away. And above all, trust your ears. They'll hear you before you see them. That split second is the difference between another day and your last. I'll admit it. I'm afraid. More afraid than I've ever been. My body shakes sometimes even when nothing's happening, because I know it can. It can happen at any moment. I used to think fear was weakness, but maybe fear is what's keeping me alive. Fear makes you listen harder, move quieter, breathe slower. Maybe fear is the only thing left that reminds me I'm human. This is Reed Winslow, 107.2 FM, still talking into the static. If you hear me, don't give in to the silence. Don't give in to hope that someone else will fix this. Stay awake, stay cautious, stay alive. Day 11, and the world hasn't ended yet. Not as long as one of us is still here. It's 7:47 p.m., and the last of the daylight is bleeding out of the sky. The horizon over Columbus burns orange for a few minutes before it fades into black, and with it, the streets below shift again. I can already hear them, groans rising, feet dragging, the hollow clatter of hands scraping against metal and stone. It's the same pattern every night. They wake with the dark like the sun is the only thing that slows them down. And once the shadows take over, the city doesn't belong to us anymore. I've been staring at the skyline for hours, and I swear I can see fewer lights with each passing night. At first, there were the occasional flickers from apartments, candles or lanterns, signs that someone else was out there trying to hold on. But now, almost nothing. Just black windows stacked high above the streets, silent, empty, watching. I don't know if those people are gone, or if they just learned what I have, that light is a beacon, and a beacon is a death sentence. The generator rattles louder every day, its coughs and sputters breaking through the quiet. I've started shutting it down for longer stretches, only firing it up when I broadcast, but I can still hear the fuel sloshing thin in the tank. At best, I've got a few more days of power. After that, my voice goes dark with the rest of this city. Maybe that's what scares me most. Silence. Not the kind filled by groans or breaking glass, but the silence when no one is left to speak. Today, I watched something that chilled me worse than anything yet. A group of them, maybe 30 or more, gathered near the old Greyhound station. They didn't just shuffle aimlessly like usual. They circled, slow and deliberate, around something I couldn't see. Then one broke off, then another, until the whole group turned in unison and started moving north. Not scattered, not random. Together, like they were following an unseen call. It wasn't noise that drew them. I didn't hear a sound. It was something else. If they're starting to move like that, if they're learning, then we may already be too late. I keep thinking about the people I've lost. My sister Melissa, her kids, my coworkers at the station. I hold on to the sound of their voices because that's all I've got left. But the longer this goes on, the harder it is to remember them clearly. Their faces blur, their words fade, and I hate that. I hate that the world we had is being erased day by day, replaced with this endless hunger. Maybe that's why I keep talking into this mic, even when I'm not sure anyone is listening. I want someone to remember. I want proof that we were here, that we mattered. If you're hearing this, remember one thing. Don't let them corner you indoors without an exit. It's a trap I've seen too many fall into. A locked door feels safe until you realize you've caged yourself. Always have a way out, even if it means climbing, even if it means dropping from a window. Pain is better than being torn apart, and never waste daylight. Every minute the sun is up is a chance to prepare for when it's gone. This is Reed Winslow, 107.2 FM, speaking from the hollow heart of Columbus. Another night begins, and I'll keep my voice alive as long as I can. If you're still breathing, don't give in to despair. As long as you hear me, it means we're not finished yet. Not tonight. Not now. It's 2:12 a.m., and the city is crawling with them again. I haven't looked out the window in hours, but I don't need to. I can hear them well enough. Their groans rise up through the cracks in the pavement, through the hollow buildings, through every forgotten street. It's a chorus now, a low, endless drone that seeps into your bones until you can't tell if it's outside or inside your own head. Sometimes I catch myself breathing in rhythm with them, and I have to remind myself that I'm still alive, still separate, still human. The boards on the studio door have started to bow. They're not inside, not yet, but they push against it sometimes, like they know I'm here. I can hear their nails scratching against the wood, slow, steady, patient. That's what terrifies me most. Patience. They don't get tired, don't stop, don't lose interest. You can hide for hours, days even, and when you finally crack the door open thinking they've moved on, you'll find them waiting. Always waiting. I found a scrap of a newsprint earlier, a front page from almost 2 weeks ago. The headline read, "Flu Outbreak Prompts National Guard Deployment." Flu. That's what they called it back then, trying to keep the panic down. I remember laughing bitterly when I saw it, because I'd already watched a man tear another man's throat out by then. No flu turns your neighbors into monsters that keep walking after half their face has been chewed off. They didn't want to admit the truth. And in that hesitation, in that lie, the world burned. The air is cold tonight, colder than it's been since this started. My breath fogs when I talk, and the studio feels like a tomb. I've layered myself in every coat and blanket I could scavenge, but it's not enough. I think the cold is seeping into the city the same way the silence has. I wonder if that will slow them down. Part of me hopes, but another part knows better. Nothing slows hunger. I've been turning the dial every hour, hoping for a voice. Most of what's left is static, but once in a while there's a flicker. Broken words, fragments of someone else clinging to life on the other end. Tonight I caught a voice saying something about northern roots and burning fields. I couldn't catch the rest, but it sounded like somewhere out there, people are still moving, still trying to carve a path out of this nightmare. Maybe north is the way. Maybe it's just another dead end. I think about water more than anything now. My lips are cracked, my throat burns, and the small stash I had is nearly gone. Food you can stretch, but thirst breaks you quick. I keep telling myself tomorrow I'll leave the studio, risk the streets, search the buildings nearby. But every time I picture stepping outside, I see myself swarmed, dragged down before I can even take 2 breaths of free air. That fear pins me here, even as I feel myself drying out. If you're alive and you're listening, don't trust walls alone. Don't trust the sound of silence. Don't let the dark convince you it's safe just because you don't see them. They're always there. You just haven't noticed yet. This is Reed Winslow, 107.2 FM. My voice is all I have left to give you. Hold on. Keep breathing. We're not gone yet. Not while someone is still speaking into the dark. It's 5:28 a.m., and the sky is just starting to pale. Dawn creeps slow these days, like it's hesitant to shine on what's left of this world. The light is weak at first, a thin gray veil stretched across the horizon, but even that is enough to quiet the streets for a while. I can already feel it, the shift in their noise. The groans taper off, the shuffling drifts back into shadows. It's not peace, but it's the closest thing to peace we get anymore. From the roof earlier, I looked out over the city. Columbus is hollow now. You can see it in the way smoke rises without pattern. Scattered columns from fires no one put out. No fire trucks coming to douse them. The skyline doesn't hum with life anymore. It just stands, blackened teeth biting at the morning sky. Cars sit rusting in intersections, some with their doors still hanging open like jaws. What was once movement, order, routine, it's frozen, like the world hit pause the moment the dead stood up. I thought I saw a survivor this morning, a figure on High Street, moving fast, too steady to be one of them. They carried something long, maybe a bat, maybe a rifle. I watched from the roof, not daring to shout. The figure stopped, crouched behind an overturned car, then bolted across the street and vanished into an alley. I wanted to call out, but my throat locked. My mind kept telling me, what if they heard me too? What if my voice dragged them in? So I stayed quiet. And now I wonder if that person is still alive, or if they're lying somewhere dark with their blood cooling. The generator is holding for now, but the fuel is running low. Every tick of the gauge reminds me that time is shrinking. I think about leaving the studio every hour, but the thought of the streets stops me. Still, I know I'll have to. Without water, without fuel, this station is just a tomb with a microphone. Survival means moving, even if moving means risk. I try to tell myself that every time I tighten the boards on the doors. I think about how fast it all collapsed. 11 days. That's all it took for the world to fold. 11 days from the first rumors of sickness to entire cities going dark. It makes you realize how fragile we really were. Everything we thought would hold, power grids, hospitals, supermarkets, gone in less than 2 weeks. And now it's just us, scratching at survival with whatever scraps are left behind. If you're hearing me, remember this. Daylight is your ally, but not your savior. Use it to move, to search, to prepare. Don't waste it. Keep low, stay quiet, and always plan for the night. Night will come, and with it, they'll rise again. This is Reed Winslow, 107.2 FM. Another day begins, and I'm still breathing, still speaking. If you're alive out there, let that mean something. We endure as long as we keep going. Just one more sunrise, then another. That's how we win. If winning is even possible anymore. It's 8:02 p.m., and night has swallowed the city once more. The sun sank behind the horizon an hour ago, and with it came the sound I've learned to dread. The first low moans drifting through the streets, the scrape of bodies against brick and pavement. They're out there again, countless feet dragging across asphalt, their voices rising together until it's all you can hear. They always come back. Always. The streets look worse than they did yesterday. From the roof, I saw burned cars piled up along 3rd Street, a wall of twisted metal where someone tried to build a barricade. It didn't hold. Bodies were scattered around it, both the living and the dead, though dead doesn't mean much anymore. Some of them still crawled, arms stretched out, jaws snapping. Whoever built that wall must have thought it would buy them time. Maybe it did. But time runs out fast here. The generator coughed hard when I started it tonight. The red needle is kissing empty. I don't think I've got more than 2 or 3 nights left of this voice reaching you. After that, silence. I keep turning over the thought of leaving the station, walking out there with what little I can carry, searching for fuel, for food, for something. But every time I picture stepping through those doors, I hear their moans louder, see their faces clearer. You tell yourself you'll run, that you'll be quick, that you'll get what you need and slip away unnoticed. But deep down, you know better. One mistake, one sound, one shadow moving wrong, and you're done. Today, I sat by the window, listening, watching. There was a group out there on the corner, maybe 20 or 30 of them, huddled together. They weren't moving much, just swaying, as if waiting. And then, all at once, they turned and shuffled north, like something called to them. That's what chills me most. It's not random anymore. It's not just hunger driving them. There's something else, something pulling them together. I don't know if they're learning, or if this is just what they've been all along. I think a lot about the old world. Coffee in the mornings, traffic on the way to work, laughter spilling out of bars late at night. Small things I used to ignore. Now I'd give anything to hear one voice in this city that wasn't mine. To hear someone laugh again, even once. The silence of the living is the worst part of all this. The dead are loud, constant, impossible to ignore. But the absence of us, of our voices, our sounds, that's what makes this place feel truly empty. If you're alive out there, don't waste your daylight tomorrow. Don't sit still unless you have to. Food, water, shelter. Those are the only things that matter now. And when the sun sets, make sure you've got walls, doors, and silence. Don't ever think they've moved on. They don't move on. They don't forget. They wait. This is Reed Winslow, 107.2 FM, somewhere in the ruins of Columbus. Another night begins, and I'll keep speaking as long as the fuel lets me. If you're hearing this, then you're still alive, and that's enough for now. Survive tonight. Make it to the morning. That's all that matters. It's 3:11 a.m., and the darkness feels heavier than usual tonight. The air is thick, damp, and every sound seems sharper, like the city itself is holding its breath. I can hear them down there, closer than last night, their groans echoing against the hollow buildings. The boards on the studio door tremble now and then, just slightly, as if something leans against it, testing, waiting. I sit here with my hand on the microphone and my eyes on that door, wondering how many more hours before the wood gives way. I tried sleeping, but sleep doesn't come easy anymore. When I close my eyes, I see their faces, not the strangers outside, but the people I knew. My sister, her kids, my old neighbors, even the man at the coffee shop who used to get my order wrong every morning. I see them standing in the street with that same empty stare, their mouths slack, their arms reaching. My mind twists their voices into moans, and I wake up gasping, unsure if the sound is dream or real. Tonight I made the mistake of standing by the window too long. I saw them move through the intersection like a river of broken bodies, all flowing the same way. There had to be 100, maybe more, and the worst part is the way they didn't scatter. They moved together, steady, deliberate, as if something unseen was guiding them. I don't know what draws them. Sound, smell, instinct. But it's too organized to be chance. And if they're learning, if they're changing, then God help the few of us left. The generator stuttered again, its cough echoing louder than I'd like. Fuel is nearly gone. Every time I flip the switch, I wonder if it will be the last. I've been rationing what's left, cutting the hours I stay on the air, but even that won't save me much longer. Without power, this microphone goes silent, and with it, my only connection to anyone still breathing. The thought of that silence, true silence, where no one is left to speak, terrifies me more than the dead themselves. I keep thinking about leaving, about stepping out into those streets and searching for fuel, for water, for anything. But then I picture the sound of my boots on the pavement, echoing down the empty blocks. I picture one turning, then another, then the whole crowd following. And I freeze. I tell myself tomorrow, always tomorrow. but tomorrow never feels safer than today. If you're hearing me, remember this. Don't ever think the quiet means safety. Quiet is a trick. It's the moment before the groans start again, before the hands scrape at your door, before the dead turn their eyes toward you. Trust your fear. Let it guide you. Fear is the only thing sharper than their hunger. This is Reed Winslow, 107.2 FM, still alive, still talking. If you're out there, don't give up. Don't give in. Dawn is a few hours away. Hold on to that. Survive the night, and you'll see another morning. That's all we can do now. One sunrise at a time. It's 6:42 a.m., and the sun has finally broken through the haze, though it's weak and pale, like it's afraid to touch what's left of this city. Morning doesn't bring relief anymore. It just shifts the kind of danger you face. The streets are quieter now, but the quiet doesn't mean safe. The dead don't vanish with daylight. They drift back into shadows, slump against walls, lie still in gutters like trash waiting to be collected. If you don't look close, you'll mistake them for corpses. But they're waiting. They always are. I climbed to the roof just before dawn. From up there, the city looks hollow, gutted. I counted 6 plumes of smoke rising across the horizon, black columns twisting into the gray sky. Somewhere out there, whole blocks are still burning, and nobody's left to stop it. The fires crawl building to building until they eat themselves out. That's how things work now. There's no one to control anything, no one to restore order, just chaos burning itself quiet. From that rooftop, I thought I saw movement. Real movement, not the dragging kind. A pair of figures running across an intersection, moving quick, ducking low. They vanished into a building before I could get a better look. Maybe it was my mind playing tricks. Or maybe there are still pockets of people clinging to survival in corners of this city I can't reach. If it was real, I envy them their numbers. Being alone wears on you. Silence presses in, and every sound you make feels like it echoes forever. The generator is holding, but only just. I poured the last of my fuel into the tank last night, and the gauge hasn't moved much since. I'd guess I have one, maybe 2 days before this voice goes dark. I've been debating whether to make a run for it today, to risk the streets while the sun's up, but the thought of leaving these walls makes my stomach twist. Out there, it's open, exposed. The kind of place where one mistake echoes for blocks, where one pair of cloudy eyes becomes 100 in the time it takes to reload. My mouth is dry, my throat cracked. I'm down to my last bottle of water, and I've been sipping it like it's gold. Hunger gnaws, but thirst, it claws at you in ways you can't ignore. That's what will force me outside. More than fuel, more than food. And when I go, it'll have to be quick. In and out. No hesitation. If you're hearing this, know this. The dead don't slow down with time. They don't fade. They don't stop. It's us who weaken. It's us who tire, who stumble, who forget to check every shadow. That's why you can't let your guard drop, not for a second. This is Reed Winslow, 107.2 FM, clinging to this frequency as long as I can. If you're alive, if you're listening, use the daylight. Make it count. Gather, move, prepare. Don't waste a single hour. Night will come again, and with it, the sound of their hunger. It's 10:15 p.m., and the city feels heavier tonight, like the dark itself is pressing down on the buildings. The streets below aren't just restless, they're boiling. I can hear them moving in numbers I haven't heard before, groans rolling together into one endless wave of sound. Every crash, every shuffle, every low moan carries through these walls like a reminder that I'm surrounded on all sides. They've been louder since sunset, more relentless, as if they know something I don't. I tried turning the dial earlier, scanning through what's left of the frequencies. Most of it is still just static, but at 88.3, I caught something faint. A man's voice, broken by static and distance. All I could make out was, "Safe house, west of the river, 20 or 30 left." And then silence. I don't know if it was real, or if it was old, a loop from days ago that somehow still lingers in the air. But I keep thinking about it. West of the river. That could mean Franklinton. Or maybe farther. If it's true, that means survivors. That means people are still out there, huddled together, breathing through another night. And if it's not true, then it's just one more ghost carried on the waves. The generator nearly gave out when I started it tonight. It wheezed, coughed, and I thought it was done, but it sputtered back to life. I keep my hand near the switch now, ready for the moment it quits for good. Without it, this voice vanishes. Without it, I'm just another ghost swallowed by silence. Fuel is gone, and I know I can't stretch this much longer. That means tomorrow I'll have to move, whether I want to or not. The idea makes my chest tighten, but there's no choice left. Hunger and thirst don't wait. Neither does the dark. I caught sight of something earlier that I can't shake. I was watching Broad Street again when I saw a group of them, maybe 50 strong, clustered around something I couldn't see. They weren't feeding. They weren't wandering. They were standing still, heads tilted back, faces pointed toward the same point in the sky. They stayed like that for minutes, silent except for the low rattle of their breath. Then, without a sound, they broke apart and started moving together down the street, as if a signal had passed between them. If they're not just wandering anymore, if something inside them is pulling them together, then we may be in worse trouble than we thought. I think about my sister every night. Melissa, with her tired smile and her kids tugging at her arms. I keep wondering if she made it through, if she's out there huddled in a basement, clutching them close, listening for a voice like mine. Or if she's gone already, another face lost in the tide. I'll never know, and that's the part that breaks me most, not knowing. If you're alive out there, remember this. Walls don't save you forever. Locks don't save you forever. The only safety is in your silence, in your caution, in your will to keep moving when everything in you wants to stop. Don't wait for rescue. Don't wait for hope to come walking through the door. Hope is what you make in the daylight, with your own hands, one step at a time. This is Reed Winslow, 107.2 FM, speaking into the dark with what little power I have left. If you can hear me, that means you're still alive, and that means something. Don't waste it. Survive tonight. Survive tomorrow. One sunrise after another. That's all we have now. It's 1:44 a.m., and the city feels like it's holding its breath. The groans outside never stop, but tonight there's something different in the way they rise and fall. It's less scattered, less chaotic. It almost sounds like rhythm, like waves crashing, pulling back, then crashing again. I've been leaning against the wall, my ear pressed to the boards, and I swear it feels like they're moving in cycles. They'll grow loud, surging together, then quiet down all at once, as if some signal tells them when to stop. It chills me more than the noise itself. Hunger doesn't explain that. Something else does. The generator is rattling like an old man on his last breath. Every shutter makes the lights flicker. and each flicker twists my stomach. I've been rationing the power more carefully, shutting it down for hours at a time, sitting in the dark with nothing but the scrape of their feet for company. I only switch it back on when I'm ready to speak, when I feel that silence eating at me too much. But fuel is gone. I can smell the bottom of the tank. By sunrise, I might be broadcasting with nothing but my own lungs, and no way to carry it past these walls. I thought about leaving tonight, using the dark as cover, but every time I looked at that door, I froze. The night doesn't hide you. It just hides them until they're close enough to touch. Out there, it's too open. You can't hear them until they're already on you. And I know if I step into that silence, I won't come back. So I stay, and the walls feel smaller every hour. I caught something strange earlier, maybe around midnight, a sound that wasn't theirs. Sharp, clean, metallic, gunfire, distant, muffled, but unmistakable. It came from the west, maybe near the river. 3 shots, then silence. No echo of survival after, no shouting, no engines, nothing. Just 3 cracks in the night, swallowed whole. Whoever it was, I don't know if they were fighting their way free, or if those were their last bullets. Either way, it reminds me I'm not alone in this city. Not yet. Someone else is still holding on somewhere out there. I'm thirsty. My lips split every time I speak, and my throat burns with every word. Hunger I can manage. I've stretched the last 2 cans of food longer than I should have. But thirst is different. Thirst is sharp, insistent. It claws at you in ways you can't ignore. I know I can't last another day without water. I'll have to go out tomorrow, no matter what waits on those streets. If you're hearing me, listen to this. Daylight isn't safety, but it's the closest thing you'll get. Move in the morning when their numbers thin, when the shadows are shortest. Don't wait until desperation drives you into the night. And if you hear silence out there, don't trust it. Silence isn't safety. Silence is a trap. This is Reed Winslow, 107.2 FM, still speaking, still alive. If you're out there, hold on. Keep your head down, keep breathing, and don't let the dark convince you it's over. The sun is only a few hours away. Survive until then. It's 7:09 a.m., and the first light has finally pushed its way through the cracks of this broken city. The streets look different in daylight, but not better. The bodies are clearer. The ruins are clearer. What the dark hides, the morning lays bare, and sometimes I wish it wouldn't. From the roof, I counted 3 overturned buses on Broad, their windows shattered, their sides streaked with blood. People must have tried to make a barricade, maybe a convoy heading west, but it didn't hold. It never holds. Around them, the dead lay scattered, some still, some twitching, some already pushing themselves back to their feet. The sun slows them, but it doesn't stop them. Nothing does. I caught movement again this morning. Not them, people, survivors. 2 of them, carrying backpacks, moving fast along High Street. They looked lean, worn down, but steady. They kept to the alleys, stayed low, checked corners like they'd been doing this for days. They didn't see me, and I didn't call out. My throat ached with the urge, but I swallowed it back. Calling out could have doomed us all. Still, the sight of them lit something in me. Proof that I'm not the last. Proof that the living haven't been completely erased from this city. The generator gave me hell when I fired it up this morning. It took 3 pulls to cough to life, and the smell of burnt fuel filled the room. I don't think I've got another full day left in the tank. My choices are narrowing. risk the streets for fuel and water, or sit here until silence takes me. And silence isn't an option. Not for me. Not yet. I thought I heard church bells earlier, faint and distant. It stopped me cold. The sound carried across the city like a memory, but it wasn't steady. It rang 3 times, then cut off. Could have been wind knocking at an old steeple. Could have been someone trying to signal. I don't know which idea scares me more. If it's the wind, then this city is mocking me with echoes of what it used to be. If it's people, then that means someone is drawing attention, and drawing attention is suicide. My body feels heavy. Every step, every breath feels slower than the day before. Thirst has hollowed me out. My lips are cracked, my hands tremble, and my voice scrapes when I talk. I keep telling myself I'll make a run for it when the sun climbs higher, when the light cuts sharper shadows. But the thought of those streets freezes me. You know they're waiting. They always are. And yet, if I don't go, I die here anyway. If you're hearing this, let me tell you what matters now. Don't waste the daylight. Don't linger in one place too long. Water is life. Guard it more than food, more than anything, and never ever mistake stillness for safety. Stillness lies. The moment you believe the street is empty is the moment the dead stand back up. This is Reed Winslow, 107.2 FM, holding on with the last of my strength, with the last of this fuel. If you're out there, don't stop. Don't give in. Another day has begun, and that alone means something. Survive it. That's all we can do. It's 11:27 p.m., and the city feels like it's collapsing inward on itself tonight. The moans outside are louder than usual, not scattered but layered, thick, as if they're pressing in from every direction at once. I can hear them through the walls, through the floor, through my own chest. When I step near the boarded door, I feel the vibrations in the wood, light, rhythmic, steady. They're not just passing by anymore. They're lingering, clustering, waiting. The fuel is almost gone. The generator spat and coughed when I turned it over, like a dying animal fighting to stay alive. I can smell the sharp sting of diesel in the air, but there's barely enough left in the tank to keep the mic open another night. Every word I speak burns what's left. But silence is worse. Silence is surrender. And as long as I can force my voice out into this dark, I'm not ready to surrender. I thought I saw something impossible earlier. Around 9 o'clock, just before the last light vanished, I climbed to the roof to scan the streets. A pack of them, dozens, had gathered near the courthouse, shifting, twitching, filling the whole square with their rotten bodies. They weren't attacking. They weren't feeding. They were standing still, all facing the same direction, their heads tilted, as if listening for something. They stayed like that for minutes. Then, without warning, they all turned at once and shuffled east. Every single one of them, moving as one. Hunger explains chasing a scream. Hunger doesn't explain that. I wonder sometimes if we've been wrong about them. Maybe it's not just mindless hunger driving those empty eyes. Maybe something deeper is waking in them, something we don't understand. And if that's true, then every plan we cling to, hide, wait, survive, might already be dust. The air stinks tonight, not just rot, but smoke too. Somewhere close, maybe a block or two, something is burning. Wood, plastic, maybe flesh. It all smells the same now. It clings to your skin, fills your lungs, settles in the back of your throat until you can't escape it. Every breath feels dirty, but there's no choice but to keep breathing. I haven't eaten in almost 2 days. My body feels weak, hands trembling on the mic. The last can I had I saved, thinking I could stretch it out. But hunger has a way of breaking even the strongest resolve. It's gone now. Water's worse. My mouth feels like sand, every swallow like glass. If I don't move tomorrow, I won't have to worry about them finding me. My own body will finish me first. If you're alive and hearing this, don't wait as long as I have. Don't put off what you know you need to do. Food, water, fuel. Those aren't things you plan for later. Later doesn't exist anymore. Later belongs to them. Now is all you've got, and wasting it is death. This is Reed Winslow, 107.2 FM, still breathing, still clinging to what's left of this voice. If you're out there, if you can hear me, remember, as long as your lungs hold air, as long as your heart still beats, you haven't lost. Survive the night. That's all I ask of you. Survive the night.